Lyme Regis, one of the beauties of Dorset. They call it the Pearl of Dorset. Now they call it the Jurassic Coast. However, years back in the 70s, it was one of the most amazing places for adventure and discovery, especially Churchcliffe Beach, mostly known as Back Beach to the locals. The photographs which you're seeing now, with much more marine life, like all these lovely green anemones and brown anemones. There are so many different anemones, and as you turn over the rocks there was an abundance of brittle stars, small starfish, peeler crabs, hermit crabs, swimming crabs, greenback crabs, brown crabs, prawns, shrimps, fish, butterfish, pipefish, and the list goes on and on and on. However, on my return with my nieces to go rock pooling, this is what we found. So we're here on the reef now. As you can see from the background here, the tide is at one of its lowest. It's a very low tide here on the 1st of September 2022, and the year 2000, should I say, about 20 years ago, this reef had so much marine life thriving in it. So the diversity of the marine life was incredible, as I used to keep a fish tank and come down here and find things for it, and it was incredible. I just wish I had videos and photographs of the fish tank I kept. Until I actually moved to Borneo, I had to get a bucket and fill it up and bring it all back down here and let it go. And of course, after the wall was built, which you can see over there, there's a really big long wall which was built when I left. And when I came back, I was told by the local fishing people that all the marine life has literally disappeared. And from my walk down here yesterday, overturning rocks, we just found a few shrimps and crabs. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Well, as I walk over the reef, you can see that it's quite rocky, and loads of little water pools, and there's actually a channel which the old sewer pipe used to run up through, and I believe that this is the one here. And it goes from there and runs out over to the end there, as you can see. So here I am, right at the end of the reef now. It's very weedy indeed. So what you're looking at now is the trench where the old sewage pipe used to run out and spew out raw sewage. This was stopped back in the 90s from people falling sick with hepatitis, and also one child ended up being deafened due to the raw sewage, and it was really bad. And then as I pan round, you can see the wall that they built after 2010. There were groins coming out of that wall, which also may have changed the way the marine life developed, but I'm sure that the concrete in that wall when it was built, concrete having lime, will probably have taken all the oxygen out of the water and killed everything, as we are going to find very soon. It's quite devastating. There is some minimal marine life left, which I'm looking into, because this was one of my havens to come down here and go rock pooling. And yesterday I decided to bring the kids down for some fun and show them the marine life which was down here, and all we found was a few little crabs and a few little shrimps, some anemones and a couple of little blennies about the size of your little finger, or no, not even that, it was about an inch long. The little crabs were about the size of your thumbnail, whereas before you could go in the rock pools around this area here, work your way back, and you'd find crabs the size of your hand, green, red crabs, brown crabs, baby brown crabs in their abundance, prawns the size of your fingers in abundance just by dipping your net along the water's edge here, and it was thriving. There was all sorts of fish, diverse, which you'll find in most reef books. It was amazing, and now it's all gone. Well, here's a nice little rock pool, and if I just move the weed away, we should be able to find fish and prawns jumping about, crabs, and as you can see, it may be clear, but it's empty. Even underneath the ledges here, it's just empty. There's nothing darting away from me or anything. It's just a weed. Again, this is starting in the channel here, as you can see, and I'm going to move a lot of the weed here. Now, this end you used to find lots of sea urchins and turning over stones, lots of fish and little crabs, and there's literally nothing moving at all. Going a little bit further. Now this is your classic little rocks which you can turn over. Sorry, put my drone over there. And if I lift up this rock now, oops, that's part of the actual stoneway. But you should be able to find something. There's little shrimps I've seen. There's plenty of anemones and plenty of whelks here. But underneath here, always found crabs. Trying to get back underneath the rock, and there's nothing. Be careful here, it's so slippery. See, there's just nothing there. There's not even a shrimp. Completely lacking of marine life other than seaweed. Let's try underneath these rocks here. It's a bit more promising. Oops. Oh, we found one. There is life. You see one crab. But this used to be full of velvet swimmers and loads of green crabs and red crabs, and even small little brown crabs which grow up to be edible crabs. And there used to be blennies and pipefish and sea urchins. I should put this on back really. Put that back and carry on. See if we can find anything else underneath the weed here. It's just lack of life. Looks like a promising rock to turn over. Well, it's been turned over already by the looks of things. There's some little crabs underneath there. So life is returning slowly, but not dramatically. And so abundant as it was. assistant here. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was something there moved. Nothing really big. Not going to disturb it. So I've just seen something move in here. Just move this weed out of the way a little bit. There we are, look. Oops. There he is. Oops. Ouch. That'll probably pinch me. But yeah. So there is crabs, very small and very not many around at all. Whereas there used to be so many of them. The thing for me to do is come down here at high tide and dive it when the weed is all hanging high. Now, even walking through water like this, I used to see shrimps, baby fish, racing away from my feet at this time of year, and there was nothing whatsoever. I think we need a preservation. Oh, I just seen a fish underneath that rock there. There's a movement over there. But I noticed that a lot of people, holiday makers, are coming down, turning over rocks with the reed bed underneath, and of course they don't turn the rock back up again, and so the homes of the creatures are really upset. In return, they have to find somewhere else. It doesn't help. It's always good to return the rocks to where we find them. All this is in a good cause, I hope you know. So no criticism for turning over rocks. But even the anemones, where are all the anemones? The big green and red anemones. There used to be thousands of them, and they are all gone. Ah, there's some actual life in this. There we are, look. You can actually see some life in this pond. Yep. Let's disturb this and see where they all go. They're hiding well, but there are little fish to be found in this one. But nothing compared to what they used to be. That's a good starting to pick up. Oh, we saw something move. Yeah. Under here. There's a little crab. No squat lobsters or anything that used to be hanging on the bottoms of the rocks. So you can see that this rock has been turned over and left where it should have been like this. Maybe it should have been like that, sorry. Where is it all gone? And where are the abundance of hermit crabs which used to be here? There isn't an anemone there. That's a green, no, that's not an anemone. I'll take you under the water in a minute. So I've been right out onto the edge of the reef here, right to the very edge. I've come all the way down this channel, and I've seen a few little fish and 3 crabs, and that's it. And I've turned over a lot of rocks and boulders, putting them back, and it's quite sad really that so-called progress has destroyed so much marine life. When you're rock pooling or on the beach at low tide and exploring, time often passes you by very fast, and one thing you must watch is the tide. As on spring tides especially, the tide can come in very fast without you realising. One of the indications of the tide changing, believe it or not, is when the seagulls start calling, and they are telling you that the tide is changing, and therefore that is a time to start making your way back. This is the aerial view of one of the oldest jetties in Lyme Regis that is left now. I hope that they won't pull it apart or try and rebuild it, as it's quite photographic in its own way. But the other jetties, which originally were the second jetty and first jetty in Lyme Regis, which a lot of us who were born in the 60s remember it very well from meeting places to go swimming, is now gone.